Every day, we wake up following the same routines, interacting with the same people, and thinking in the same patterns. We believe this is just who we are, that our lives are shaped by our past and the choices we've already made. But what if, tomorrow, you woke up and decided to live as an entirely different person? Imagine no longer being confined by your old identity. What if you stepped into the world with the mindset of a bold entrepreneur, taking risks, spotting opportunities where others see obstacles, and turning every challenge into a stepping stone for success? If you lived like a professional athlete, would you become more disciplined in your habits? Would you push yourself harder, refusing to let setbacks define you? If you thought like a philosopher, would you question life more deeply, seeking meaning beyond the surface? Or if you embraced the life of an artist, would you unlock creativity within yourself that you never knew existed? Living a different life for a period of time doesn't mean losing yourself, it means expanding who you are. By pushing past the boundaries of your current identity, you may discover new strengths, hidden passions, and a deeper understanding of the world around you. Sometimes all it takes is shifting your perspective to open the door to an entirely new reality. So, if you had the chance to live as someone else for a week, a month, or even a year, who would you choose to become? And more importantly, what would you learn from the experience? 1. You are not limited to just one life. One of the greatest misconceptions people have is believing that they are bound to a single path in life. From an early age, we are conditioned to think that we must choose one career, one identity, one way of living, and that once we make that choice, we are locked into it forever. But the reality is, life is not meant to be lived in just one way. You are not confined to a single version of yourself, nor are you obligated to follow a predetermined script. The world is filled with endless possibilities, countless lifestyles, and infinite ways to experience life. Yet, most people never explore beyond the familiar. They stay within their comfort zones, never questioning whether the life they are living is truly the best one for them. But how can you know what truly fulfills you if you've never tried living differently? Imagine for a moment, if you lived like an artist, how would your creativity evolve? Would you start to see inspiration everywhere, in the streets, in conversations, in everyday moments you once overlooked? Would you allow yourself the freedom to create without fear of judgment? If you adopted the mindset of an investor, would you begin to view money and financial freedom differently? Would you start making strategic decisions that build long-term wealth instead of chasing short-term gratification? If you trained like an elite athlete, would you develop the discipline, resilience, and mental toughness required to push through life's obstacles? Would you wake up each morning with a newfound sense of purpose and energy? The truth is, you are not just one person, you are a collection of potential selves, waiting to be explored. Each version of you is shaped by the habits you adopt, the mindset you cultivate, and the risks you are willing to take. You don't have to settle for a life that feels ordinary when you have the power to reinvent yourself at any moment. So the real question is, are you brave enough to step beyond the familiar and discover who else you could become? 2. Why you should try living a different life. Experimenting with a different way of living doesn't mean abandoning who you are. Instead, it means expanding your perspective, challenging your current beliefs, and learning from those who think and operate differently. Too often, we become trapped in routines that feel safe, but also limit our growth. We assume that the way we live now is the only way, never stopping to ask, what if there's a better approach? Breaking invisible limits. Most people live within self-imposed boundaries, rules they have unconsciously created for themselves over time. They convince themselves of things that may not actually be true. I could never wake up at 5 a.m. It's just not who I am. I'm not good at socializing, so networking isn't for me. I'm not a creative person. I can't think outside the box. But have you ever questioned whether these beliefs are real or just habits of thought? When you deliberately step into someone else's lifestyle, even for a short period, you begin to see that many of these limitations are entirely artificial. If a successful entrepreneur wakes up at dawn and exercises before starting their day, why can't you? If a great public speaker once struggled with social anxiety, but overcame it through practice, what's stopping you from doing the same? Adopting a new way of living, even temporarily, forces you to confront these limiting beliefs. You start to see that they were never based on reality. They were simply patterns you had repeated for so long that they felt like the truth. And once you break those patterns, you open the door to new possibilities that were always there, just waiting for you to explore them. 3. How to live a different life without giving up who you are. You don't have to completely transform yourself into someone else to experience the benefits of a different lifestyle. The goal isn't to abandon your identity, but to temporarily step into a new way of living to test drive a different mindset, routine, or perspective for a set period. Whether it's a few days, a week, or even a month, intentionally adopting the habits and outlook of another person can offer invaluable insights and personal growth. Choose a lifestyle you want to experience. Begin by identifying a person or a group of people whose lifestyle you admire. It could be someone who represents a version of yourself that you aspire to become, someone whose habits, mindset, or way of living intrigues you. A creative artist who constantly pushes boundaries and explores new ideas. A professional athlete who maintains an intense level of physical and mental discipline. A person who exudes unwavering optimism and resilience, regardless of circumstances. Think about why this lifestyle appeals to you. What qualities do you want to cultivate in yourself? What aspects of their daily routine or mindset seem valuable to incorporate into your own life? Study their habits and thought processes. Once you've chosen a person or lifestyle to emulate, the next step is to analyze how they think and act. The goal is not to imitate them blindly, but to understand the principles that shape their success, happiness, or creativity. Consider the following questions. What does their daily routine look like? How do they start and end their day? What habits contribute to their success or well-being? How do they approach challenges and setbacks? What beliefs or philosophies shape their decisions? You can gather this information through books, interviews, documentaries, or by following them on social media. The more you understand their mindset and habits, the better you can integrate meaningful aspects into your own life. Implement their lifestyle for a fixed period. Once you've studied their approach to life, commit to practicing their habits and routines for a set period. This isn't about permanently changing who you are. It's about seeing life from a different perspective and discovering what works for you. If you want to live like a CEO, wake up early, plan your day meticulously, and cultivate a leadership mindset. If you want to experience life as an artist, dedicate time daily to creative work. Free yourself from self-imposed limitations and embrace experimentation. If you want to adopt the discipline of an athlete, commit to a structured exercise routine, eat mindfully, and push yourself beyond your perceived limits. The key is consistency. Even a week of fully embracing a new way of living can reveal habits or insights that you can carry forward into your normal routine. You might not continue everything, but certain elements, whether it's a new morning routine, a shift in mindset, or a change in how you handle challenges, can become permanent, leading to meaningful personal transformation. By temporarily stepping into a different life, you gain perspective on your own habits, strengths, and limitations. You may even discover a new version of yourself, one that was always there, just waiting to be unlocked. 4. The unexpected results of living a different life. Many people who have experimented with stepping into a different lifestyle, even temporarily, have experienced profound and surprising transformations. What initially seemed like a simple exercise in curiosity often led to significant personal growth, new perspectives, and unexpected opportunities. One of the most common discoveries is uncovering hidden passions and interests. When you immerse yourself in a new way of living, whether by adopting the habits of an artist, an entrepreneur, or an athlete, you expose yourself to new activities and ways of thinking. Many people find that they develop a deep interest in something they had never considered before. A person who never thought of themselves as creative might find a love for painting, while someone who never saw themselves as an entrepreneur might discover a passion for business. Another surprising outcome is the formation of better habits while naturally eliminating unproductive ones. When you adopt the discipline of a successful individual, even for a short time, you start to see the inefficiencies in your current lifestyle. For example, someone who follows the morning routine of a CEO might realize that their usual late-night habits were holding them back. By trying a new structure, they gain awareness of what works best for their energy levels, productivity, and overall well-being. Additionally, people who engage in this kind of lifestyle experimentation often develop a more adaptable and open mindset. By stepping outside of their routine, they become less rigid in their thinking. They start to question assumptions, become more comfortable with change, and learn to embrace uncertainty. This mental flexibility is a powerful tool in both personal and professional life, helping individuals handle challenges with greater ease and creativity. Perhaps the most empowering realization of all is the newfound confidence that comes from knowing you can adapt to different environments and lifestyles. Many people live with the belief that they are stuck in a certain way of being, that they are naturally shy, undisciplined, or incapable of change. But when they experiment with a different way of living, they prove to themselves that transformation is possible. They learn that identity is not fixed, and that they have the ability to evolve into whoever they choose to be. 5. Final thoughts. Why you should try living a new life. You don't have to abandon your current life to transform, you just have to expand it. We often believe that to change our lives, we must leave everything familiar behind and embark on a completely new journey. But the truth is, you don't have to abandon your current life to experience transformation. You just have to expand it. Imagine this. What if you thought like a philosopher for a month? What if you lived like an artist? Would your creativity explode? What if you trained like an athlete? Would you discover a stronger version of yourself? You are not limited to one way of living. You can experiment, experience, and grow in multiple directions whenever you choose. What would happen if you lived differently? If you've ever wondered whether your life could be different, why not give yourself the chance to try? Choose a lifestyle that intrigues you. Commit to experiencing it for a set period. Observe what happens to your thoughts, emotions, and actions. You might be surprised by what you learn, not just about the new lifestyle, but about yourself. For example, if you try living like a successful entrepreneur, you might learn better time management. If you try living like a writer, you might develop a deeper way of thinking. If you try living like a monk, you might discover the power of stillness and focus. What you can discover by experiencing a new life. This process isn't just about testing a different lifestyle, it's about uncovering hidden aspects of yourself. You might unlock hidden strengths. Many people go their entire lives without realizing who they could become. By trying a different way of living, you might discover you have better business instincts than you thought. You are more disciplined and self-sufficient than you imagined. You are more creative, bold, and capable than you ever believed. Only when you step outside your comfort zone will you see the stronger version of yourself. You might discover a new passion. Have you ever wondered if you're truly passionate about what you do? Maybe you've been so used to your current life that you've never explored other possibilities. If you try living like an athlete, you might develop discipline and perseverance. If you try living like an investor, You might learn how to think long-term and manage money wisely. If you try living like a scientist, you might become more curious and analytical. These habits won't just change how you work, they'll reshape how you see the world. You have the power to create any life you want. We often forget an important truth. You are not confined to a single way of living. The world offers countless possibilities, and you have the power to choose the one that fits you best. Do you want a life full of creativity? Try living like an artist. Do you want to develop an unshakable mindset? Try living like a warrior. Do you want to deepen your understanding of yourself? Try living like a monk. You can reinvent your life at any time, you just have to be willing to try. Who will you become next? There are no rules that say you must live one way forever. You can constantly learn, adapt, and evolve. Today, you might be working an office job. A year from now, you might be an entrepreneur. 5 years from now, you might be a content creator, a writer, or a digital nomad. Every path is open to you. The only question is, who do you want to become next? Give yourself the chance to try something new today. Who knows? It might be the door to the best version of yourself. At the end of the day, life isn't about staying the same. It's about growing, evolving, and discovering who you truly are. You are not meant to live just one version of yourself. You have the power to experiment, to step into different shoes, and to explore all the possibilities that life has to offer. Think about it. How many experiences have you missed out on simply because you assumed you weren't that kind of person? How many dreams have you let slip away because you were too afraid to step outside your comfort zone? The truth is, we often box ourselves into a single identity, believing that we must stay consistent with who we've always been. But what if the best version of you is still waiting to be discovered? You don't have to completely change your life overnight. You don't have to abandon your past or erase who you've been. But you can give yourself the gift of reinvention. You can wake up tomorrow and decide to think differently, act differently, and approach life with a new mindset. You can take inspiration from entrepreneurs, artists, athletes, philosophers, anyone whose way of living speaks to something deep within you. Imagine the possibilities. What if you lived like an artist and saw beauty in the ordinary? What if you thought like an entrepreneur and turned obstacles into opportunities? What if you trained like an athlete and developed unstoppable discipline? What if you embraced the stillness of a monk and found clarity within yourself? You don't have to choose just one path. Life is not about being one thing, it's about becoming everything you have the potential to be. And the only way to unlock that potential is to step beyond the familiar, to challenge the limits you've unconsciously placed on yourself, and to give yourself permission to explore. So, why not take that leap? Why not test a different way of living for a week, a month, or even a year? Maybe you'll discover strengths you never knew you had. Maybe you'll find a new passion that reshapes your future. Or maybe, just maybe, you'll realize that the only thing holding you back was the belief that you couldn't change. Because the truth is, you don't have to wait for a new life to find you. You can create it starting now.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.